He weaponized the IRS with billions of dollars, and he also put a minimum corporate tax of 15%, and the money is staggering. Joining us right now, Victor Davis Hanson, Hoover Institute Senior Fellow. Victor, is he right? There's no new taxes in this?
No, he's wrong. You're right. There's new taxes, there's new regulations, there's an expansion of government. Somehow we're in a rock and a hard place. We're in classical stagflation. We have 9.1% annual inflation, and we have 2 quarters of negative growth. And you got to pick your poison, Brian. Ronald Reagan broke it, and he was very unpopular in 81 and 82. Very courageous, but he broke inflation. So the interest rates to break inflation have got to go up, spending has to go down, and you've got to deregulate and encourage the economy. But when you do that and interest rates go up, we could get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters of negative growth. And so we brought back stagflation that a whole generation hadn't witnessed, or 2 generations since 1980 in the Carter years. They keep pointing to this 3.6 unemployment rate. They say, no, don't use the recession word. But that's also misleading, because there's a lag behind employment and recession. By that I mean consumer confidence is down, people are buying less, employers are pulling in their expansionary plans, and we're going to see a dip in the, we're going to see a rise in unemployment. Right. But more importantly, is a labor participation rate. We have a lot of people that are not participating because they got acculturated to stay home during the COVID lockdowns. They were subsidized by the government with these massive, last year of the Trump administration, but especially the Biden administration, these trillions of dollars that we spread and gave checks to people. A lot of people are afraid of COVID. They're locked down. We had a lot of premature retirements. People who were 63, 4, 5 just said, I'm out of here. We had people who did not participate because they did not want to get vaccinated in the military and the federal workforce. They were afraid of mandates. We have people who have long COVID. Maybe 10 million of them have not recovered. So I don't see any optimism on the one area where they were very optimistic. They said, we're not in recession because we have 3.6 unemployment. I think it's going to rise very quickly, and the people, they're not participating, so it's a misleading figure to begin with. And it's going to explain why we're not having very much growth. So
and I'm also getting worried about
how they did it, but they managed in
up.
less than a year and a half to take a very solid recovering economy with natural demand that was going to accrue after the lockdown, and regulate it and tax it and inflate it to death. And we're in a really bad place. So pick your poison. You either stop the recession or stop inflation.
While letting 4 million people illegally into the country we know nothing about. And so I think the most egregious is the name, Inflation Reduction Act. Inflation Reduction Act, it should be the Climate Change Act with some fossil fuel provisions. Victor Davis Hanson, thanks so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.